We got absolutely jumped on by snow on the weekend. I'm going to fall down these stairs. Whew. Yeah, we got a huge amount of snow. I think it was Saturday night. It's Monday now. I have not yet gotten to the chicken coop to sweep all the snow off of the roof because it took all of my energy and back strength to shovel my giant driveway, which I'm really thankful to have when I get big bulk deliveries of things like soil and rock. Not so thankful in the middle of winter when my neighbor with the snowblower is out of town and I have to shovel the whole thing. Woe is me, right? Anyway, it snowed a lot, and we got a lot of snow on the chicken run, and as I've shown before, we need to keep that puppy swept off. I mean, I guess we don't need to keep it swept off. Chickens like sunlight, though. I mean, everybody likes to have a little sunlight, and while this snow keeps things insulated, I'm sure, chickens also don't mind the cold so much. So I think I'd rather them get a little natural light than have an extra layer of snow blanket on their home. Oh my God, I'm so winded. Really out of shape. There's such a thing as farm fit. I don't think I have it. I guess that's because I'm in the suburbs. Never quite get farm fit out here. Flood mania. Where to put these? I water the chickens. I only have to do that about once a week. Usually we have 9 chickens and a big waterer. Don't ask me how many gallons it is. I don't know. But I need a bucket. Seeing this shed, let me give you a sneak peek here. Seeing this shed reminds me that I need to do a little cleanup. Oh my God, it's so bad. It's so bad. Yeah, I'm going to do a before and after, I think, when the weather is warm enough. I think that having the camera on is the motivation that I will need to clean this space up when it's warm enough to just be out here working for a couple hours. I'll pull everything out and organize. So that's on the horizon. Time to go fill up the water bucket in the house and haul it all the way back out here. Wintertime problems. No eggs. Oh, Fernie. There's snow everywhere. Do you want to go in the snow? Holy, we need to cut your nails, Mammy. Should put a big paver in their run so they can scrape their nails on it. You know what's funny? I don't know which chicken this is. We have two who look identical, like identical twins, because we hatched them both here from the same clutch of eggs that I bought. These are silver red Isbars. That's their breed. And my mom has one staying with me right now whose name is Silver Necklace, and I have one whose name is Fern. And the only way I can tell them apart is when they're standing next to each other. Fern is slightly smaller, but I can't tell when I just grab one randomly. We really need to cut her nails. Whew, that's not ideal. All right, time to go back in. Thanks for the hangout. Okay. There are a couple more things I want to do while I'm out here, and I'll bring you along with me. One of those things is to check for winter damage on some of our plants. Now, I very carefully protect my fruit trees. I built these cages around my fruit trees. They're tall enough, it's 4-foot tall chicken wire, so it's tall enough that even if we get a couple feet of snow, the rabbits aren't going to just graze on the tree trunk as they walk by. Also, this apple tree is getting to be mature enough that it's not as enticing for rabbits. Rabbits really love poor baby trees who really don't have enough bark to give. The one thing that I'm curious about are my raspberries. I didn't fence those off this year, and I may regret it. Now, I'm seeing some damage, but for some of these raspberry canes, it's fine. Let me show you. Here's an example of one of the raspberry canes. The bark has been chewed off, and you know, this much damage is probably fine. If they go all the way around the cane's probably gonna die. So I have three kinds of raspberries here in this patch, in this 20-foot row of raspberry canes. You can see it along here. And there's two different types of raspberry. There is the fall-bearing raspberry, and then there's the summer-bearing raspberry. Now, the fall-bearing raspberry you can actually cut back to the ground in late winter, early spring. In fact, you're supposed to, because it only produces berries on the new growth of the upcoming year. Whereas my summer-bearing raspberries, they produce raspberries on last year's new growth. And so if you cut them to the ground, you're not going to get summer raspberries. Usually they'll still put on a fall showing of berries if you do that by accident, but your harvest will be significantly smaller with a summer bearing if you cut it back to the ground. So I didn't want the rabbits to do that to my summer bearing. They did it to me 2 winters ago, and so then last winter I wrapped this whole 20-foot long raspberry bed in chicken wire. It was a pain in the butt and it didn't look very nice. So I thought this year, like, oh, whatever, I'm just going to leave it. That was really silly of me. They've done quite a bit of damage. It's okay. We have tons of raspberry plants, so we're going to get harvests. But I do have to come through here anyway in, at this point, a couple of weeks probably, as the weather starts to warm up and I can see the ground again when the snow recedes. I'm going to cut back all of my fall-bearing raspberries all the way to the ground. And then my summer bearing, I'm going to cut back the ones that I know had berries on them last year. And then if there's anything that the rabbits haven't eaten that's left that was a new growth from last year that didn't have berries on it, I'll leave that, and that'll be where I get the summer berries from this year. So you can see I leave all of the spent berry ends, like these are the blossoms that then had berries. I leave these so that in late winter, I know which ones produce berries. So this one can get cut out. This one can get cut out, this one can get cut out, this one. And then here, you can tell by looking at this cane, I'm breaking it, but there's no blossoms, there's no spent blossoms on this. So this did not produce berries last year, which means it was the new growth from last year and it should produce berries this year. But it's extraordinarily damaged at the base. I can't believe it's still standing. Yeah. What a jerk. Oh, look, there's a nice little bunny nest surrounded by chewed raspberries. Anyway, I don't usually worry about that kind of thing. We produce a lot of food here, and so a little bit that goes to the wildlife is not that big a deal, although raspberries are so great. The kids could eat them by the bucketful every day. And it's nice to have some left over to freeze and make jam with, so I do want copious amounts of raspberries. Well, we'll see what those do for us. Regardless, by August, September, the fall raspberries are overwhelming, so we'll be fine. I also found this poor guy. This is a sumac that I planted here last year. Well, it was a sumac. I remembered to wrap all of my trees that I cared about, all my fruit trees, my paper birch, a hop tree. I wrapped everything except 2 little trees, and both of them have been decimated. So that's frustrating. This is my sumac, and I have a New Jersey tea tree in the front of my house, which the rabbits didn't do this to it. They didn't just chew all the bark off of it. They just nibbled the branches down, so it got a really good haircut, a really good pruning. This guy, I don't know. Here's part of its top. Oh. I mean, we've got sumac everywhere. Actually, one volunteered behind my chicken run, so it's not the end of the world. I didn't even pay for this tree. I got it from my mom's old place. It's just, you know, I want the rabbits to have food, but when you plant something that you tend to care for, there's anticipation to see it grow, it just never gets easier when you come out in the winter and see all the damage. So if you're going to grow a food forest, a homestead with trees and shrubs, just make sure that you protect them like Fort Knox in the winter. Like Fort Knox. These rabbits are tenacious. I think there's one more thing I want to get done out here, and that is to harvest some food. Not eggs, because they didn't lay today. But I'm going to be digging up some more turnips from the garden. The hardest part is finding them, honestly. Let's see what we can find. I know there's a ton of beets in here too, but right now I just need turnips. There's my irrigation line. Here we go, found one. There's some nice ones right there. These ones are really frozen. My trusty hory knife. Here's one. Another one. There we go. Okay, I just have to get a thumbnail. Bear with me. Look at these beauties. Oh, they smell so good. Smell them. Can you smell that? These things smell like garden produce. Wow. Oh, man. Can't wait for gardening season to start again. But I mean, technically, gardening season is always when you grow like this, when you grow hardy root vegetables. You can carve out of 18 inches of snow. Pretty sweet stuff. Cat. Millie. We're inside again. Welcome back in where it's warm. I'm going to do a couple things now that I wanted to bring you along for. One is misting our mushroom grow bags. I keep them here in the pantry because it's convenient. Now, I get my mushroom kits from Grow Mushrooms Canada. I also get my spawn from there, the spawn that I'll put out in the garden in different places. I've got mushroom logs, mushroom totems, and wine cap mushrooms growing rampant in all the wood chipped areas of my garden. I super recommend mushrooms if you want to grow your own food. It is such an awesome way to grow food besides just vegetables. Anyway, these are some mushroom grow kits. I'm going to show you this one. This one has just started pinning. You can see there's all the little pins. Here's their branding if you want to see. Grow Mushrooms Canada. I'm not an affiliate or anything like that, but I do have a coupon code. I really like this company. It's a Canadian company. They're based out in BC, and it's a family-run business, so I really like to promote them when I can. Anyway, part of mushroom care in these mist and grow kits is to mist them. It's a super important part. They need a lot of humidity, and especially in our part of the world where we have furnaces, or in our case now a heat pump furnace running all the time. It's cold out. The air in the houses is really, really dry. What are you doing, Millie? Oh, she's so jealous. The air in the houses is really, really dry. And so, you know what? She might look like she's suffering here, but she deserves it. She eats everything. Anyway, we have to mist these at least twice a day to get them to be happy and to fruit. So I keep a spray bottle close by. I try to avoid spraying the mushroom itself once the mushroom starts to fruit, just because it gets a little slimy. Spray the inside of the tent, the outside of the bag, and then close this down. I keep them on a plate so that it doesn't just pool water on your shelf. This one over here is a lion's mane, and it looks like we're about to get a third flush of lion's mane on this one. There it is, coming in right there. I have more mushrooms in my basement. Hold on, let's go see them. We are renovating the basement stairs. This is fresh drywall, fresh trim. I have some more mushrooms in here. This is a very tight little basement bathroom, so I'm on an awkward angle here. I have a humidifier down here. That's a humidifier. And then I have a grow tent over top of these. And we are getting also a third flush of lion's mane on this bag. That's what you see right there. You can get about 4 flushes from each bag, so we're doing great. And then this is another blue oyster bag right here. And I think I see some more pins again. I just harvested off this 2 weeks ago, and we've got a third flush coming on this too. So the only maintenance in this setup is to refill the humidifier. It takes actually every day. I have to fill it up or it empties. The cat is inside the grow tent. Man, she's so snoopy. Anyway, these are the 2 ways that I do mushrooms through the winter. I actually prefer growing mushrooms outside because, you know what, let me get out of this cramped little bathroom. I actually prefer growing mushrooms outside. I think it's so much easier. It's so much more hands-off. Cat on the counter. But we do grow them inside in the winter because I want to eat fresh mushrooms all year long. Now, I don't know how long this video is going to be, but I do have to do a little bit of seedling maintenance, so I'm going to take you along with me. If this video is getting too long, then I'm just going to hyperlapse through the whole thing. That's all I have for you today. Thank you for coming along with me as I did some outdoor homestead chores, harvested some veggies from under 18 inches of snow, and then took care of some indoor growing like our seedlings and our mushrooms. As always, I hope that you'll come and grow with us.